was clean. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming back to
Fun
Double
to finally use that.
Yeah, we've had the Glagger for 3 weeks, and we've never used it because we keep forgetting. That's the dad life, bro.
Also, my mug is back, which is good news.
Dude, fan favorite.
Yeah.
Jimmy's mug. No one's
My
noticed.
favorite. Yeah. Notice my mug, guys.
Speaking of noticing, this episode, Double Dads 4, we got a guest, Ethan. Ethan's here.
Good morning.
That's gonna ruin all of our mics. Everyone's doing away. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Jimmy's a
for
longtime
inviting
friend
me.
of mine, and Ethan
Yeah.
introduced our friend.
Childhood
Hey,
friends.
you're supposed to introduce our friend.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're not going to say last names. This is Ethan. He is a Marine in Japan, and he is back in the States for his wedding tomorrow.
16 hours.
So, 16
coming up
hours,
fast.
he'll be a married man.
And in that small amount of time, he's decided to sandwich in an episode of the Double Dads podcast.
Yep.
It is
Got to wake up early for that.
early in the morning. Yes.
I'm going to start us off with the dad joke. This is a new segment. It's a new segment because we're two dads married to women
We just have to embrace it
and
now.
with kids. And now we have to do the dad joke thing. So I've got one for you guys.
All right.
Let's hear it.
Why do gamers never use Uber? Because they have the wrong drivers. Thanks for tuning in to Double Dads episode 4. Thanks for tuning in to Cringe Fest episode 1.
Do you know how angry that makes me?
I felt your blood.
Dad.
Yeah.
Ethan, tell us about planning your wedding from around the world.
Yeah.
I planned my wedding a year and a half ago. About a year ago. Oh, yeah, just under a year ago. Just over a year ago. And it was all local. Like, I was within 10 minutes of the venue and, like, family and friends. And that was an ordeal on its own. What about being in Japan, stationed in Japan, trying to plan a wedding in the States?
Well, yeah, I have to get a lot of credit to my soon-to-be wife, Savannah. She's been doing most of the coordinating. She's really kind of hands-on in general, and she likes to be like her own wedding coordinator. She's kind of took control of all of that. So I've been helping as much as I can. Really, my role in all of it was trying to coordinate everything on my end with housing and
Sure.
getting her on my orders and all of that. So yeah, it's been interesting. It's been exciting. Lots of FaceTiming. Yeah, I think our record for one day of FaceTime time was like 12 hours.
Dang.
Yeah. Some of it was
Are you like
us
making a lot of the phone
sleep.
calls too to like venues and such, or?
Not really, because it's hard at the time difference. You know, I'd have to wake up in the middle of the night.
Right. We know that, playing Call of Duty with you.
So full credit to Savannah. I did help, obviously, as much as I could.
I did
But-
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And her parents have been very helpful as well.
No, that's awesome.
We've had a lot of support on this end.
That makes a big difference when someone is motivated to do that kind of thing. Like, I was not for my wedding. I was not motivated to wedding plan. I did it because we couldn't afford a planner. And so I'm
Right.
like, we're just gonna have to do this. And we
Yeah.
try to keep it simple. And even then, like, there's just so many.
You just write the checks, Ange.
Yeah. And exactly. That boiled down to me just like writing checks. Just
Yeah.
like,
It's
here's all
not
my
that
money.
you don't want to help. It's just, it's really at the end of the day, it's kind of what she wants. And
Right.
you're okay to roll with the punches and, you know, accept what comes. Obviously, you have a little bit of say. And you want to implement some of your ideas, but for the most part, we don't see maybe the importance of some of the details.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good fiance right there. Nice work, buddy.
Yeah.
I totally get it. Yeah, it's like when it came to like decorating and how things are going to be laid out, like I could have an opinion, but it's so the wrong way to do things. Like I'm like, I understand that my way to do this is probably bad. Just you do your thing.
Yeah.
Do your thing, Hannah.
I'm not going to actually be helpful in this situation other than giving you money.
Yeah. So, but it's fun to see all the details come together and we're excited for you in a couple days to celebrate with you in Savannah, and
Yeah, absolutely.
this will be a lot of fun. So, we've got you got the rehearsal tonight.
Yeah, we had Jimmy hosted a little bachelor party yesterday. Went to a rock climbing place. That was pretty fun. All of our forearms and hands were quite sore
I
after
heard
like
minimal injuries
30
after that,
minutes.
which is
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just sore hands.
it's new
Really
muscles
fun.
you didn't know you had in your forearms. You're like, those can burn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good arm workout for sure. Yeah. They had the auto belayers, so we were all kind of just going at it all at the same time. It was really fun. But yeah, and then today we have the rehearsal and groom's dinner at the property. It's going to be an outdoor wedding, which is a little iffy. It looks like it might rain tomorrow towards the evening.
It's gonna be fine.
But, we got tents and we got
Umbrellas.
perseverance, so that's all we need.
Exactly.
Let's go.
As long as we can get
You're getting married either
the
way.
ceremony in before it starts raining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all that
Regardless of the weather. Yeah.
Regardless.
You'll get married at the end of the day.
Yep.
That's the goal in all this after all.
Yep.
If we all get soaked, that's
Papers
just
will
part
be
of the fun.
signed. Yep.
We'll have a story to tell
Good
at the end of
pictures in the rain.
it. Yeah, exactly.
For real.
Some people pay a lot of money for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Artificial rain.
Can you throw some fake rain?
Yeah, exactly. Nice. Yeah, that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to try and do some videography of this thing and capture the moment for you guys as much as I can with my iPhone.
Yeah.
So-
We're excited for that.
It'll be fun to take part in that, and then see it all come together, see the day come together. So,
Shot on iPhone.
exactly. Yeah, there's gonna be a watermark like this big on the whole time. There's gonna be like
Andrew's iPhone.
There's gonna be a GIF of Tim Cook.
You have to
going
pay a
like this.
premium. You have to pay a premium to get that watermark removed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Dude, for real.
You have to pay me like the premium rate.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's just Tim Cook going, "I am thrilled" in the corner the whole time. Well, that's exciting. We're happy for you. We're excited for you. We did this last time, Jimmy, but I think we should jump right into our like dad talk stories of the week.
Yeah.
Kind of keep that theme rolling.
Yeah.
And I know I have one, but I'm trying to remember what it was. I think you have one. I have one about your kids I could share because I babysat them yesterday.
Dude, totally. Oh, man. I got one. Just how honest kids are and like how much they pick up on things you didn't realize. And Sarah and I went to the mall, and she was in the fitting room, and me and the kids were walking around Macy's, and we walked past the jewelry section with like bracelets and necklaces and stuff. And my little girl goes, "Oh, those are some really pretty bracelets and necklaces for mommy." And she's like, whatever mommy wants, mommy gets. Oh, like, what? You're like 3. Whoa. I mean, it's true, but
That's amazing.
Mommy.
That's amazing.
so funny. Wow. Just the honesty of little children is like terrifying.
I've been observing for 3 years. Every time you compromise, mom gets what she wants.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So, what was your story with my kids? How were they?
Yeah,
last night?
I babysat your kids yesterday, and Ethan's hilarious. How old is he? 3?
Oh, he's 4.
4? He's 4 now.
4 and little girl's 3.
Yeah, they're a blast to watch. They're super cute. But they do funny stuff, and like you say, Ethan, we take him to the park. They're going on the slide and stuff. They're having fun, and he's got just rocks all over in his shoes. Like there's tons of rocks in his shoes. One of those playgrounds was little pebbles.
Yep.
And so we go to leave the playground, and he's like, "I got rocks in my shoes." I'm like, "Oh, want to take them out?" No.
Oh.
I was like, "Oh, you don't? No. I'm like, okay." So we walk home. He's just like kind of like, he's got rocks in his shoes. And then we get home, and we're going to leave to get back to your house, and he's like trying to like empty out his shoes, and I don't think he got them all out. He was just kind of like shaking them and hoping the rocks would come out, and he just puts them back on. I'm like, "Do you want to get the rocks out of your shoes?" He's like, "No."
He accepted his fate.
Okay, so I mean, if you find an agate in his shoe,
Yeah.
you know why.
Oh my gosh.
It's a good way to toughen up your feet.
Yeah, he's building calluses, I think.
Yeah.
He may be onto something.
Dude, start him young.
Yeah, I was thinking about like putting sandpaper in my soles and just letting my feet get really built up, you know?
That would probably soften your feet. Exfoliate.
It might cause like permanent damage.
Or that.
Exfoliation. There's an extreme exfoliation right there.
Exfoliate all 3 layers of skin.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, kids are fun. There's always something to share. And there's always something to do. Every day there's something new, which is part of the fun.
Yeah.
And, you know, with Liam, my 4-month-old now, in a couple days, he'll be 4 months old. 5 months old. Jeez, I'm already losing track.
Come on, Dad.
I'm like already forgetting his birthday.
It's the first kid.
I know. This is not a good sign. That means I've already forgot the anniversary. Like, it's just gone.
Yeah.
There's too many days.
I need a reminder, an Apple reminder.
Yeah. And I know I had a story from Liam from the last week, but I just, for the life of me, can't remember it at 6 a.m. this fine Friday morning. So I'll save that for a future episode.
Okay, that sounds good.
But
I got a story to tell.
yes, please do.
So we were up till what? Past midnight last night. And
No. We're responsible adults.
yes. No.
This is why we're all 3 of us are just chugging coffee. Right?
Yeah.
Definitely didn't crawl myself out of bed.
Yeah. Anyways, so we had to wake up real early this morning. And thankfully, it wasn't that hard for me to wake up because I had a terrible dream.
Oh, no.
I'll tell you what the dream was. I stole money from our church. $20,000.
What?
And the whole time they're like looking for it and like suspecting me. And like I knew if I like confessed, I'd get kicked out of our church and like Sarah would divorce me. And so when I woke up, I was like, whoo, I'm so glad this dream is over and I am awake. I'm not going back to bed. I'm not a
I came up the stairs this morning and he looks so relieved. He's like, dude, I'm so glad I woke up. Dude, that was the worst thing ever.
Nightmare, dude.
I thought I would have to come like wake you up because generally you're pretty hard to get up.
Yeah.
It's just like wide-eyed. Like,
The dream surely helps with that.
this
Sweats
dream,
everywhere.
were you like impoverished in this dream? Were you trying to get like, we're trying to buy something?
I don't know. So I was like sitting.
Explain
there
the
was, like,
beginning.
Yeah. So I'm like sitting at this table and like in the middle of this table, there's like this little like box and that's like the treasury for the church.
Yep.
And
You're like, ooh,
yeah, I mean, I'm like looking at it.
this goes to the poor.
Yes. Me. I know I'm below the poverty line. I looked up those stats on the IRS.
Oh, no.
And so anyways, this like monster from Stranger Things like breaks in and I just grab the box and run.
This is your fault for watching like horror movies and stuff.
Yeah. Horror movies
true.
and nice movies.
It's true.
And I just run. And then I just didn't return it. And of course, like, 10 minutes later, everything's back to normal. And like people are wondering what's
Everyone's
going on.
looking for the money.
Yeah. And yeah, it was the worst. I woke up and like my mouth was like dry, like crunchy, dry, dude.
It's a good fear of yours. It's a good fear to have.
Oh my gosh.
A proper nightmare.
If you woke up going like, not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I have more questions for you.
Right.
Yeah, dude. I'm so happy to be awake now. I'm up. I'm up
that's
for it.
And you're wide awake. And you're going to be doing great all day. So just keep thinking, at least I'm not a felon, like in my dream.
Yeah.
At least. Yes.
Still have my family and my church and a free man and dude.
Oh, that's crazy. It's on a new segment on Double Dads. We're going to talk about dreams now. Ooh. Welcome to Dreamscape by Double Dads.
It's going to be Inception. That's going to be the segment.
Inception?
Good movie, by the way.
What's next in Inception?
One of Chris Nolan's best, in my opinion.
Really? Yes.
I think so.
The visual effects was quite stunning.
If only it was
Rotating
filmed in
hallway.
IMAX back then.
Was it not? Most of his are.
I know.
That must have been like the last one that
So
wasn't.
what about the Batman movies? Were those IMAX?
Those are half and half.
Half.
You notice the aspect ratio will change.
Right. See, that's weird to me. I think he should just commit to
It
one.
is weird.
He
Kinda-
did. Well, Dunkirk was the same way. Dunkirk was like 80% IMAX. And then Oppenheimer was 100% IMAX, which I think was his first film that was 100% IMAX.
Got it. And his first film without VFX.
I believe Tenet
Wait,
was.
oh, you're right.
100% IMAX,
Was it? I thought so too.
or was it not?
If only I had a way to Google this.
I think you're right.
It is a strange thing having to change between aspect ratios. It kind of pulls. He makes really good movies, but pulling the viewer away by distracting them with changing aspect ratios is a little. I don't know.
Do you remember when season 1 of season 2, episode 1 of Mando? As soon as they fight that crate dragon, do you notice the aspect ratio grew and turned into IMAX for the whole fight? And then like at the end of the episode, it like goes back down. But like you can see it like raised and lower.
Oh, so
instead of
they,
just like cutting,
they
like
it?
raised it. It was actually really sick because as soon as like the crate
See, I'm okay
dragon
with that.
appears,
That's
like,
smooth. Yeah,
and then the screen.
because that's immersive.
I'm okay with that because suddenly it feels
It almost like it like pulls you in.
feels
like,
bigger.
The excitement.
See,
comes.
okay, that's genius.
Yeah,
That
It's
was pretty
Oh,
cool.
I didn't know my screen was this big.
Yeah. Well, those black, they got rid of my bezels. This movie cured my bezels. That's the only movie you can watch from now on.
Yes.
See, that's cool. I love that kind of stuff. I like it when they do something unique that like immerses you in a new way. You know, that kind of stuff is so cool to me.
Have you seen Oppenheimer?
Yes.
What'd you think?
No spoilers.
Okay.
I won't spoil anything, but I kind of had an uncomfortable theater experience. It was packed. First of all, we barely made it into the theater.
Yeah.
It was pretty hot in there too. It was on a military base. The theaters aren't the highest quality.
100% of the seats.
Screens are okay, but the seating and the room is. But I thought it was a little long.
It's like 3 hours long.
I need to watch it again. That's for sure. I give it right now like a 6 out of 10 until I watch it again.
Okay.
So that's the lowest review I've ever heard.
Yeah. No, it was definitely interesting, and obviously with Christopher Nolan movies, like there's a lot of details. So like to really appreciate the movie, you have to watch it at least 3 times.
It did take me probably 3 or 4 watches at Tenet before I even understood the plot.
Yeah.
And some people don't like that. They want the whole experience right away. So it's like, they don't want to go back and watch. They're like, that just takes away from the movie value. But to me, it like adds to it because there's layers to the movie, you know?
Yeah.
You get more out of it.
Right.
Rewatchability.
Right. Rewatchability.
It's like better value. Your purchase of that movie is you'll get
That's
more
true.
watches out of it, you know?
Over time, the value will go up really to you because you learn more.
I guess I understand both. Like, I understand having a movie be its own self-contained thing that you don't really have to think about. Like, I can watch this and understand it, and if I want to, move on.
Well,
Do something else.
just think about the movie that was released alongside of Oppenheimer,
Barbie.
which was Barbie. That's the movie. That's what we're talking about, though. It's the movie has everything you need in it, like right there. You can watch it once. You got everything. You know, obviously there is some hidden agendas behind that movie as well, but it's a little more straightforward
Yeah.
in a way.
I do appreciate with Chris Nolan movies that you're right. Totally a thing is he doesn't treat the audience like they're idiots.
No.
He's like, you can understand this insane plot and like 2 timelines intersecting across. I'm thinking of Tenet, 'cause that's the last Chris Nolan movie I watched. But
Good
you know,
movie.
like 2 timelines intersecting, and you're seeing like, you know, them both play out in front of you in different ways, and like interact with each other. And like in my first viewing, I'm like, I'm too dumb for this movie.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Then a couple of viewings later, and then you sent me like a spreadsheet, like a flow chart of the timeline.
Yes.
There was like a 17-point like PowerPoint presentation, like how does and then but I appreciate that kind of stuff. I'm like, there's a lot to unpack here, and then I watch it again, and I'm like, I understand more now.
Yeah.
I'm not as dumb as the first time.
Yeah.
You
Yeah. The
know?
first time I watched it, it was like, I understood like 75% of the movie. And then I watched it the second time and I was like 100%. And then the next 2 times in the theater, it was just pure pleasure.
Just mind explosions every time.
Yeah.
My mind melted for sure. I've only watched it once. I did a crime to myself, and I need to watch it.
Dude, I watched it 4 times in the IMAX theater.
It takes
So hyped about that movie.
it takes like energy to watch a movie like that. Like you can't just sit down and relax.
It's like it's like going to a class. It's like
Really?
you can't be on zero. If you go watch Tenet, you need to have like some brain power left. You can't just be at the end of the day like I'm just gonna like watch a movie and just vegetate.
Yeah.
If you do that with Tenet, you're just gonna be like, I don't know. You won't have a great experience.
It's not a movie you can put on in the background.
Right.
It's a movie you need to focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
Anyways, so once I get around to seeing Oppenheimer, I'm excited to watch it. And now I've heard a couple perspectives on it. I can go in with my own look. Ethan is thoroughly confused by your Millennium Falcon mug. That happened to me too.
It is a little scary seeing
viewers,
something coming out of your cup.
Inside of this mug,
I don't know if you
you
can see
can't
that.
see.
There's a Millennium Falcon coming out.
There's a
of there.
mold of the Millennium Falcon coming like in the middle of the mug, pointed straight out. And so first time I
Very
used that mug I'm
interesting.
drinking, I swear I thought some giant beetle had like crawled inside.
That's what happens. As you drink the coffee, the Millennium Falcon slowly emerges from hyperspace.
It's like melted though.
Yeah, it's kind of it's kind of melty now. Like it's been through a lot.
Well, I mean, it
someone's
was
been drinking
Emerging
plastic.
from hyperspace is a lot of heat generated, guys.
I think you bought a cheap mug.
I thought when you first gave it, your kids had dropped something in there. Oh,
Yeah.
But that's definitely melted. There's someone walking around with plastic in their body.
It's porcelain, though, the Millennium Falcon.
Speaking of Star Wars, I actually want to talk about Star Wars
Okay.
real quick because we have different opinions on some of these. I want to talk about the Disney Plus shows.
Okay.
Of the Disney
I have
Plus
many
spinoff,
thoughts on these.
I know I'm gonna have to reel you in 25 minutes, but
Yeah.
of the Disney Plus shows, the Star Wars spinoff shows, which one is what's your top like two? What's your top two?
Start with you.
Ethan, go.
Disney for Star Wars.
Yeah, like the Disney Plus
the shows.
So like Mandalorian, Andor, Ahsoka, Boba Fett, and Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan. Yeah.
Okay. So I've watched
Of the ones you've seen.
Mandalorians, all the seasons, 3, right?
Yep.
I watched Boba Fett and I did watch Obi-Wan. Mandalorian, first 2 seasons, pretty solid. I liked it. I liked the soundtrack, great acting. They kind of, the first season, they introduced a lot of new tech when it came to filming it, videography and whatnot.
The LED volume.
Yeah.
This kind
I
of
have thoughts on that too.
So I thought that was good, solid. Third season, a little iffy, but Boba Fett there was no focus point in that show. You know, Mando was big, so they tried to bring him back in, and you know, obviously that probably boosted the numbers, but it took away from Boba Fett and all of his story. So not very good. I did like Obi-Wan. Some boring parts, but you know,
It had some sweet fighting.
they made Darth Vader exciting.
Yeah.
First lightsaber fight, I was like, oh, this is different. This is
Yeah,
this is cool.
Dude, it's so sick when he like drags Obi-Wan through the coals, and it's like poetry the way it like reverses on itself, you know. I'm like, dang, they're actually doing that.
My top two, I liked probably season 1 of Mandalorian is probably for me it's number 2.
Okay.
In my opinion, Andor is my favorite Star Wars thing ever made,
Wow,
like ever.
Interesting.
I should watch it.
And it's for a single.
Now, do you like Andor better than Rogue One?
I do.
Okay.
And I do because of what we were just talking about with Chris Nolan movies. You need to be invested. Almost everyone I've talked to who watched Andor either loved it or said it was too slow, because the first how many episodes until it gets to like a big moment? It's probably like 3 or 4 episodes before anything actually happens. So you watch it for like 2 hours, but that whole time it's building up to this insane moment in like the 5th episode. That might not be the right episode number.
They kind of had like 2 finales. It was like
Yes,
every
they
like
did.
4 episodes they had like a conclusion.
So episode like 2 and 3 was all just prep for the episode 4. And for me, I wasn't bored. I was like, it was so much anticipation because they didn't just rush to the cool part.
Yeah.
They took like episodes of time to like show why it's important and what the characters need to go through to do this thing. And then when it actually happens, I was like so stressed. Like I was like at the edge of my seat. And then episode 4 hits, and it was like just the coolest thing I've ever seen. Like it was so awesome.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, that was a good show, you know. And then the second half goes, and it's whole like it completely switches to a new set of things going on that are completely cool in their own way. And by the end of the season, I was like, I need more. And I've never said those words after anything from Star Wars, you know, except for maybe like the old ones when I was a kid, like watching episode 4 for the first time.
I need
was
more.
like, yes, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my entire life at, 9 years old. Oh no, that was episodes 1, 2, and 3. Seeing episode 3 in the theater with Dad at 9 years old, 2 years old.
I can't imagine that experience going to the theater to see Revenge of the Sith.
I was the
like
first,
twice.
Especially as a
PG-13.
child, like,
Same for me. Like Dad's like, we're gonna go see this. I'm like, I can come.
did you watch it in theaters back in the day? Oh,
No, but first PG-13.
I've got
Star
that
Wars
couple year
movie.
difference on you guys, so I was able to experience these early 2000s movies.
Yeah.
As a kid, we walked out of episode 3, and Dad's like, "That was pretty dark. I probably shouldn't have brought you." So I'm like, "Dad, he killed the kids."
got burned at the stake.
Yeah, and then he got burned.
Dude.
It's kind of brutal.
It was a lot for me as a kid, but
Yeah.
it was fun. So, anyways, Jimmy,
Okay.
now you can go.
I have many a thought. We'll hit some of the smaller stuff first. Volume, I think, is some of the coolest tech ever. But
Explain what that is for people who may not.
it's a basically what you got is it's a circular stage, and the floor you can build, design however you want, whether you want it to be like a street, rocks, sand, whatever environment.
It's just like a normal like sound lot,
Yeah.
like stage basically.
Yep. And then you have these LED screens that go all the way around you, and they project like a 3D map, like image onto it that moves when you move, so that the right like perspective to the camera is like correct.
Yeah, they're tracking the physical camera in 3D space.
Yep.
And then the LED wall background is adjusting the view it's like an Unreal Engine, like basically a video game environment.
Yeah.
So like when Mando was riding the blurg or whatever, like in the deserts, there's that scene where he like gets attacked by it, and you can kind of see it. He's on like a sand spot, and then there's just like cool rocks and hills in the background. And he doesn't really interact with it.
Yeah.
And that was totally like there's a screen behind Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
You know? It's really cool. So sorry, continue.
It is really cool. And another advantage is it like shines like real like environmental light on the characters too. But I think there's some drawbacks that they need to figure out. I notice every time I watch it, on the edges of the screen, it gets blurred and stretched, which takes me out of it.
Interesting.
Like even on characters, you see like people in the corners, and they're not like.
Is that because the screen physically curves around the camera?
I don't know. I don't
Corners
know what it
are
is.
closer to the lens
Yeah.
than the thing it's facing.
Yeah. There's like a slight stretch, it's blurry, and there's like almost like a gradient color to it. That's just small.
I think I've
nitpick.
noticed that as well.
Yeah.
They just need a bigger volume then.
Right. Dude, for real. They're probably working on it.
I have another cool volume tidbit from a different piece of media. Once you're done, I'm gonna
Oblivion?
God of War. Anyways, keep going.
The Sony's game? Ooh. Okay. Okay, top 2. Let's get hit my top 2. Mando season 2, number 1, The GOAT. There's nothing been as good. Number 2, I think has to be season 1 of Mando. I think those are the 2 best executed and best paced seasons. I really enjoyed Andor. It was a little slow for me,
Yeah.
but that's just me.
I understand.
I
I loved it. I understand that it's not for everyone.
Yeah. I did go back and watch like the last episode like recently just for fun, and it did hit harder than I like remembered. Like they actually put in some real fight choreography in it. The punches were like heavy, you know, none of this like slap the stormtrooper's helmet type of thing.
More
And
gritty.
Obi-Wan,
Realistic.
dude, what a joke.
Trips on a banana peel and falls down the elevator shaft.
Obi-Wan, I loved half of it, and the other half was like very cringe. Anything between like Obi-Wan, Darth Vader, Anakin was like top tier Star Wars, like some of the best I've ever seen. But they did some stuff where it was like a child wrote this, or like, are you writing this for children? They had that chase scene through the woods where Leia runs at like 2 miles an hour and 5 like pirates can't catch her.
I haven't seen the second half of Obi-Wan,
Okay.
but because of the things you're saying, I just kept hearing it was cringe, so I didn't
Yeah.
take the time to watch it. That's too bad, though.
They keep breaking like established Star Wars rules too, such as like being stabbed with a lightsaber. Disney does. Obi-Wan or Qui-Gon Jinn would be rolling in his grave if he saw these things. Ahsoka is pretty mid.
And that's still coming
I
out.
feel
right?
like, yeah, season's only like halfway over. But the problem with Ahsoka is the droids have more personality than the characters.
Oh.
Everyone is just super flat. But anyways, we'll finish our Star Wars rant later, a different episode. So
Definitely gone downhill from what it used to be.
yeah.
It's
Sorry.
Well, it's
Scooting out of frame here.
Yeah, Jimmy's scooting out of frame. That's the podcast.
Andrew's tapping me. I'm like,
Back into
this up?
frame. No.
Okay.
Let's try to get you back into frame.
Sorry.
You can still work about Star Wars. I love it. So
There's a lot more I could talk about, but
this is our segue into gaming now.
okay.
'Cause we got some gaming stuff we want to talk about. And a teaser. I played Starfield for a couple hours. Ooh, good time. But we were talking about volumes and like that kind of like real world capture of 3D stuff. In Mandalorian, they did it with a screen and a physical camera. And in the game, in God of War and God of War Ragnarok, they did it with just similar idea, but they weren't using a real camera. They were just capturing it for using it in the game later. So they had people in this, they have like the biggest volume in the world. Santa Monica Studio does the biggest 3D volume for this kind of thing. And so this is an enormous room covered in trackers, and the actors who play the characters in the game go in with the suits and act out the scenes and the cutscenes. And then there's someone in there holding a device that's the camera in the game. So your perspective, this guy's holding it, and like it's kind of like handheld, like filmed in the way it does it. And so there's a part in Ragnarok, the second game, where it's like right in the beginning of the game. So this is maybe a spoiler, maybe not, but right at the beginning of the game, Atreus and I'm blanking on his name now.
I haven't played it.
What's God of War's actual name?
I don't have a PlayStation anymore.
Oh man,
Beowulf.
this is
Bjorn.
I have to look it up. I can't believe I don't remember this.
Dude.
Kratos. Kratos. Atreus and Kratos walk into his house, and Zeus and Thor and Loki are there. So there's this moment when all of them are there, and it's super tense. And they've all got like lines. They all share lines. And there's a point, and my little brother showed me this. You can see if you use like some kind of hacks, like console commands in the game, you can take the camera and like zoom it outside of the scene and watch it from a different perspective. So he saw someone do that, and he watched it play out. And the volume they recorded this is so big, you could see Atreus's character model like do his scene and then walk like through a door in the game. And then he just keeps going outside of like all of the game assets. You can see him go and like he high fives someone. And you see him like go and sit down and like start drinking something.
Oh wow,
Dude,
because he's
what?
still being tracked.
Yeah, it's still being tracked, and he's still in the game because they just left his whole mocap session in the game. So he's like chilling while Thor and Kratos are doing their thing. He's like sipping like a cup of coffee and like
That's really interesting.
because they have such a big space that they just can track these people. It's really cool. Insanely cool game. Like if you ever get the chance to play it, either of you go for it. Like it's on PC too, so if you ever get PC, I played it on a Steam Deck. It worked great.
That's
A lot of fun with it, but so new tech in gaming is fun and cool to see. A game that just came out that kind of feels like old tech, but is still fun is Starfield.
Yeah. Kind of feels like a 2013 game. The way it looks.
There's some areas that look really good.
Yeah.
And some parts of it that just feel like a Skyrim mod. Like
Yes.
some of the like NPCs are just ripped straight out of Skyrim. Like they'll, as I'm walking through a city, they'll just be like shouting their life stories, like walk past a storefront, like my grandmother found an egg in the woods, and I'm like, what? And then she like grabs a broom and starts sweeping. I'm like, and then like, can I help you? I'm like, oh, this is a Bethesda
classic.
game, 100%. And I saw like clips online where just like people are like floating through the floors.
Yes.
And but it's really fun, and I'm playing it on the Steam Deck. It barely runs, but it does run. It does run. So I'm playing it on a handheld, which has been an interesting experience I might get into in its own episode almost. But it's a lot of fun. I really like it. It's like a space exploration game without all the boring parts. And this is where a lot of criticism is coming for this game, because people are like, I want to fly to that planet and land anywhere and take off back into space. And they're describing like No Man's Sky, the game that came out, which has all that. And for me, No Man's Sky, the most boring part of that game was like all the flying. Because like, I want to go to this planet and see this cool thing. I've got 15 minutes of game time. Flying here, landing, getting out of my ship, going to the base.
They have like flight time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not too bad. Like it's very arcadey still. But it just there's a lot of like busy work to do anything. Like you gotta gather a ton of resources to fuel your ship to take off from this planet, so you can jump 4 like galaxies away to this planet and land, and then you're out of resources again, gotta harvest more resources.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just want to do the cool things and like shoot aliens and build bases and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's like a creative mode, but
So, since they're so similar, No Man's Sky was just ahead of its time, really.
yeah, it came out in
Compared to
2016. And
Starfield.
it seems like it. Starfield's a different game than No Man's Sky in a lot of ways. It's more like it's a story game. So it's like a Bethesda RPG. So it's like it's mostly about like politics.
There's a little more
No
story.
Man's Sky?
No Man's Sky is
Or Starfield? Oh,
Starfield.
Yeah, yeah,
Starfield is more like politics, and there's different factions. And
No,
your
No
place
Man's
in
Sky
there.
is like a cartoon version of Star Citizen.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, essentially.
It's like if Star Citizen the game had an arcade machine in the game where you played Star Citizen the game.
Yeah.
That's what it would be.
That's a good way to describe it.
Yeah. How do you feel? I heard that like Starfield has a bunch of like dialogue. Like,
It's
walk
very-
up to this person, click your responses, click, click, and sit there and like not actually play.
It's a lot of talking.
Yeah.
But
Do you just skip through that?
That's probably
You can.
one of the worst parts for me in a video game.
Got it.
Is the dialogue.
I don't mind it.
I want to appreciate it, so like
I just don't have that much time to like sit and listen to their conversations and like pick my choices.
Here's how I made that fun for myself. Was I created my character and I made the spitting image of Owen Wilson in the game. Named him Owen Wilson. And so now the robot in the game calls me Captain Wilson. Like,
Oh, that's right. The robot can like say your name.
and then I gave him like, so since he's a celebrity, you can choose like a story, like a background for your character and some like skills and traits. So I gave him like all kinds of like speech skills. So he's like a total like fluent, like very smooth talker, which is so Owen Wilson.
that's awesome.
And also I gave him the background where he has an adoring fan, which is one of the options where at some point during the game, a dude will just show up cannot believe how cool you are.
Yeah.
And he showed up for me, and he's the most annoying character in the
I was
game.
gonna say I'd hate that.
I was like walking through a city, and he just like, I see this blonde kid like sprinting, Like in the distance, like, who's that? Who is that? And it's like running. I found you. Like, if 1,000 books were written of your glory, none words could describe. And I'm like, this is perfect. This is every Owen Wilson fan.
That's so cool. Smart.
Tell him about what your brother picked as traits. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah. So that's what I did. And my younger brother, Nathan, he picked the background of introvert.
Oh no.
Which means he gets a buff when he's not around anybody.
Oh wow.
Suits him.
That's amazing.
So
That's pretty
found-
detailed. I
Yeah.
like that they integrate that.
he found all the stats. Yeah, he found stats to suit his playstyle, which is alone.
Alone.
And so there's stuff like that makes it fun. So I gave my character Owen Wilson a bunch of speech. So when I'm talking to someone, usually I have an option to like persuade them, and in my head I'm like hearing it in Owen Wilson's voice.
So is that like Jedi mind control? Like you can like
No,
get your other people to do whatever you want type of thing?
it's like you have 4 speech options. The 4th one is the least likely to succeed, but it's the most powerful.
Oh.
And like the first one is most likely to succeed, but it's not as influential. And you have like 3 attempts to like persuade them. If you lose one of those, like,
Okay, that's
options.
actually more interesting than just dialogue.
So this is actually it feels like gameplay. I get like into it.
Yeah.
So like one time I tried the most influential option, and I just chewed out some like store clerk to give me a deal. And they're like, okay, I guess. And I
I feel bad now.
I tried this other guy who was trying to like recruit me for a mission. I'm like, I'm not doing that crap. Like, and he's like, you're the worst person I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm like, if I lost, I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh no.
So it's a lot of talking, but it's kind of, they try to make it fun. It's still not like, it's not combat, it's not engaging, but it's pretty fun. And I like that kind of stuff. So
How was the combat? And I heard it's actually pretty snappy for like a...
it's fun. It's not Call of Duty, but it's a lot better than Fallout 4 or any other Fallouts, I guess. It's the best first-person shooting game they've ever made. The guns are cool. They've got like elemental effects, like a fire damage and stuff.
Everything is like upgradable, right?
Yes, you can customize your guns. I haven't really gotten into it that much.
Okay.
So I've only got whatever guns I've been able to pick up off the floor.
Is there like an end to the game, or does it continue
There's
as you travel and it just kind of endless
there's
dialogue?
there's a main story you go through. So you've always got like a main mission to go do. Once you're done with those, they go away. But there's a bunch of side missions. Almost everyone you talk to like has something for you to do. And once you're like, there's no
Like Skyrim, it's basically endless.
right.
The possibilities of
There's so much
side quests.
You'll probably get bored of the game before you experience everything in it.
Right.
You know. So I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's a good game. It's not what people were really expecting, but it's exactly what I wanted.
I can't believe your Steam Deck runs it.
And
It just
it runs-
blows me away.
It runs on
Little
the Steam
handheld
Deck.
running this next gen.
I'll have to show it to you
AAA game.
because it runs pretty well. Like it's totally playable.
Yeah.
Like I just forgot that I was playing it on a handheld and just played the game.
Are you gonna do like a 5-minute review of Starfield on the Steam Deck?
I'm gonna do that. Yeah,
Dude,
let's.
that'd be
I'm
sick.
gonna do like probably a short
Okay,
showing it off.
that'd be really cool.
Tell me about Halo. You got some topics from Halo.
Yeah.
What's Tatanka mode?
Tatanka mode is a
Tatanka truck?
yes. It's a new mode that Certain Affinity is working on for Halo. It could be people are speculating it's an addition to Halo Infinite, kind of like how Warzone is an addition to like MW2.
So it's like it's its own game, but it's related.
Right. But it'll be like integrated into like maybe even future Halo titles.
Oh, cool.
In the way that like Warzone was compatible with Vanguard and Cold War and MW19.
Where it becomes like a showcase for the new game almost.
Yeah. So what people are thinking it is like a battle royale / it could be battle royale / AI integrated and like looting, such as like what do you call it?
AI, like there's bots to shoot.
Like there'll be bosses in the map while you're like playing war, like Warzone,
Cool.
battle royale.
Okay.
And they also think there could be modes. What you call it? Escape from Tarkov type style.
Oh, so like Extraction.
Yep.
Extraction Royale.
So that
could be cool.
That's in the
give it a
works.
try.
Probably
So
won't.
it looks like it's quite under the wrap still.
Oh yeah.
Is this like a leak?
So like these are like data miners that are going in and like looking at code.
This is
They found like a comment in the code that said Tatanka mode, and
Yeah.
like
And yeah, it's like named Tatanka, and they're finding like code that's like revive, loot, pick up, like stuff like that.
And in a world of battle royales, this would probably save Halo, at least for the time.
they need something.
If it's a good battle royale, it might a free one too. That's also a big factor with like Warzone. Mm-hmm. That kind of introduces people to the new Call of Duties.
I think Halo has a great sandbox for a battle royale.
They've modded
It'd be
it
really fun.
already to be
I'm sure there's a Forge
battle
one.
royales, isn't it? A
Yeah, they
Forge
have like
mod.
mini battle royale in Halo Infinite right now, where it's just like on their regular maps, and like as the game goes on, like the circle closes.
That
but-
could be a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to check it out.
So, yeah, I'm really happy. Halo Infinite finally seems to be like on the up and up. The population's growing now that they have content. for
Yeah, that seems
for like
oh,
the first like year and a half, it was rough.
They're listening to their fans now. Finally,
Yeah, well, they have time to develop things. I think Microsoft was pushing them a little too hard, and leadership wasn't
Well, that
good.
was-
They like totally fired like all their top leadership and
Really?
like replaced them in the last like year.
That's not a good sign for any studio.
So
I feel like Xbox is really stressing over getting something out, like something to get people to buy consoles. And
well, they're like
Be hyped.
They're pushing Halo Infinite so hard to release with the Xbox Series
Yeah.
X.
dude, and it was rough after like a year delay.
Yeah,
I remember
it was.
seeing boxes, Xbox Series X, like retail boxes with Halo Infinite plastered all over them because they were like,
that was mine. Yep.
Really?
My Series X is a Halo
Yeah,
Infinite.
if you had gotten that, did you get that when it came out?
No.
Okay.
Well, no, because
how much do you have to pay for it? Was
I
it
think
a
I got
scalper
it like
deal?
a year and a half.
Okay.
No, like so at military bases, they have military PXs, and they actually get priority with like drops of the new consoles. So when the consoles were really hard to get, the military was still getting them, like for the Marines at least.
Interesting. They like commission a certain percentage of their stock to
And it was kind of like a drop. So like, all right, on this day we're going to be giving or selling
we have a pallet of Series
15 of
X's.
them. Right, right.
Interesting.
Didn't you have to like win like a lottery to get it though?
There was for a time there was you took a ticket basically, and
Interesting.
they pulled your name and they call you up, be like, hey, you can come buy this if you want. Otherwise, we're gonna give it to someone else.
Okay, so you like wait in line.
It's not free. You know, you still have to pay for it, but yeah, you basically win a chance to buy it.
Interesting. So with that kind of thing, are you like the Xboxes they had for the Marines? Were you like competing with other Marines to get access to it? Like,
Oh yeah.
Okay, so like all your buddies had a ticket too,
Right.
Like I'm
Yes.
14 out of 70. Like I'm coming up.
Yes. Yeah.
Interesting.
And then people that weren't interested, we'd be like, hey, can you go pull another ticket for me?
yeah.
Like,
You don't want one,
if
but
you
get-
win it, I'll pay you. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Give you $50.
That's interesting. So you had like your own little like there was like its own group of people going after these Xboxes, and me and Jimmy were competing with the rest of the entire world to get Xboxes.
Dude,
That's
if you look
why-
on like eBay right now, they're still like $700.
Are they really? They're in Walmart. Just go to Walmart and get one.
Yeah.
They were on sale. Like Best Buy and Amazon had them for like $3.99
I should have bought one.
or $3.19. Yeah,
But even more so, the PS5 was,
you could not get those.
No.
For the longest time. We talked about my experience. Oh no, we didn't. That was the episode that we lost because of technical difficulties.
Oh, really?
But yeah, that was a whole mess. It was like every piece of like computer hardware, whether it was a game console or like a PC component, like
graphics.
I remember
cards.
graphics cards
Yeah.
were like really rare. And like I remember your brother Noodles was like, I can't believe I got one.
Yeah, he got one from Best Buy and he's walking out and literally people in the parking lot were like jealous, like, no way, bro, you got one? And he's like, yes. He's like walking out with a trophy. And he recruited me to help him because he knew that Best Buy was gonna have a drop. And so there was one point where I had like on my desk set up for work, I had all my monitors and each one had a different Chrome tab open on the same Best Buy page, and they were all auto refreshing every 3 seconds. So I was sitting there because I had this like Chrome plugin where you can just auto refresh the page. So I'm sitting there with like 7 Best Buy windows and they're all blinking, and I was waiting for one of them to go from like the gray button to the orange buy.
Yeah.
What?
Interesting.
Dude, that's amazing.
That's like what it got to get access to these things. I'm glad that that's over now. That was rough.
That was rough.
How do you like Xbox versus PS? Because you used to have a PS for years, and then you finally switched over once you got this new Xbox.
Right. So I went from PS4 Slim to Xbox Series X. So
Big upgrade,
very big
but different
upgrade.
console.
Right. So I can't really speak on graphics or performance differences just because the generation's difference. I can speak on more the software side of it or the games. I did enjoy playing the Sony PlayStation exclusives. Like Horizon Zero Dawn was like one of my favorite single player open world games.
Such a cool game.
Really interesting. I played the original Marvel Spider-Man, like 2018 one. So those are all very fun to play. But kind of I joined the military like after playing those games, and then I sold my PS4, and then I didn't have a console for a while, and I play games a lot with Jimmy here, and he has an Xbox, so just to make it easier, and also because I did want to try out Xbox and see what the other side was like, because I'm really not a one-sider when it comes to tech. I used to be heavy Android, now I'm iPhone. So it performs, amazing. The game selection, Halo is pretty fun to play. I do miss some of the titles that came with PlayStation.
Sure.
But they're not convincing enough for me to go buy a PlayStation right now.
Interesting.
And I'm not that avid of a gamer. I do play a lot of the big titles that you'd get on any console, like Call of Duty, and so it's not a huge deal for me.
You're not at a point in your life where you're like, I'm going to sit down and play 45 hours of God of War Ragnarok.
Do you have Game Pass?
Yes.
Are you going to play Starfield? Because your console
I did
can run
see
it.
it was on Game Pass. And now that I see that, I might download it. I might have to buy an external drive, though, or an extra SSD.
It's a pretty big download.
What is it?
I think it was like 90 gigs on PC.
That's not too bad.
Nothing compared to Call of Duty.
It's no Modern
200.
Warfare. It's not 250
Right.
gigs, but it's not a small game. It's bigger than like Red Dead Redemption 2.
It is really sad, though, like how little space consoles have for these
Like a single
ginormous.
terabyte.
A terabyte doesn't amount to much anymore.
No.
No.
It seems like a lot.
That used to be all you needed. Now a terabyte's like, I can have 4 games.
Right. Like on my PS4 Slim, which came out in probably like 2017, 2016. That was 1 terabyte. And back then, even it wasn't enough, but it was enough,
Yeah.
for the average gamer. But now they're still releasing 1 terabyte consoles. And it's like, you need at least like 2 or 3.
I feel like they should
Right.
do I feel like they should have a couple tiers of Xbox, like almost
Right.
like how like
It's probably what the next gen Xbox and
Or at least a little
PlayStation
more
will be. It'll be like
customizable, like in the shopping
2
cart.
terabytes.
I know, and you can go buy like the Xbox, like you can plug a chip in the
Right.
back, but you'd think like they'd do it like a phone where you go to buy one and you have 3 options: terabyte, 2 terabytes, 5 terabytes. You get the premium one for $100 more with a ton of storage. A lot of people would buy it, I feel like.
I did notice they upgraded the Xbox Series S to have a terabyte edition because it used to just be 500 gigs.
That's right.
So they just released the terabyte.
That's probably a good move.
That was a good move.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do much with 500
that's like 2
anymore.
games.
2 games.
But seriously.
What is it with game developers and 200 gigabyte games. Is it
I actually read about this.
the texture packs? Is it?
So apparently I don't know if this is still the case, but I remember Modern Warfare 2019 was one of like the biggest download size games ever. And at that time it was like 150 gigs or something. And that's still one of the biggest ones. I remember reading that I don't know if this is officially like they said this or not, but I read that the reasoning was because they were optimizing the game storage for old consoles, like hard drives. Because the old consoles had a physical spinning hard drive inside of them with all the storage. And there's literally like a lead that jumps to different parts of the disk to read data.
Wow.
And there's like a stack of disks. And so it jumps between them and reads the physical data on an actual spinning hard drive. And when you do that, it does it a lot faster if that lead has to travel less distance, like physical distance. So they would copy the files a couple times over. So that if it was loading in a gun model and the shipment map at the same time, like it could guarantee that shipment assets were close in physical space on the hard drive to that gun model. So it wouldn't have to jump to a new disk and like move around a bunch.
Interesting.
Dang.
So it was big because the game was in there like 4 or 5 times so that it could read it from different areas on your disk a lot quicker. So people complained about the huge size, and if they didn't do that, would the load times be like 15 minutes? Like,
Right.
then they'd complain about that. I don't know. It was, I mean, it's not ideal. I feel like now with that everything's on SSDs, I feel like they could optimize it, but maybe they're sticking to that because they know there's someone out there with an ancient PC trying to play this game, and they don't want them to have a bad experience.
Yeah.
Or me on a Steam Deck playing it off an SD card.
Right.
SD card. Is it
And it
really an
runs.
SD card?
Yeah, I was when we played Cold War Zombies the other day. I was playing off an SD card, and
Really?
it was Windows 11 installed onto that SD card with COD installed to the same SD card. It was all running off the same card,
And it worked.
and I was playing at 60 frames a second, playing zombies with you guys.
Oh,
It's crazy.
I almost no other game would perform like that. You know,
that's crazy.
so I'm grateful for the low spec hardware I have. Have they done that?
Are you going to get the Steam Deck HD?
Whenever something new comes out, I'm buying it immediately.
Oh.
This is a good segue into our final piece here, which is talk about things we immediately replace if they were broken or lost. And I brought up the Steam Deck last time, or it's episode 2, I think. It remains. If it breaks or they release a new one, I'm there. I am a huge fan. Being like a new dad, like that's pretty much the only way I get to play games now. Is like if Hannah's watching a movie, I can sit next to her and be like semi-invested and then still playing a game. And I can just I can lock it, set it down, go do whatever with the baby, go do whatever with like the house or the wife, whatever needs to be done. And I can go back, click a button, and I'm right there. I'm back in it.
Yeah.
Right.
So toss in my bag, go on a trip. For me and where I'm at in my life right now, the Steam Deck is like perfection.
If that falls out of your bag and gets broken or lost, you immediately replace it.
I'm on Steam.com, and the charge is already there. It won't have hit the ground when the charge arrives on my Visa.
It's like already in your cart waiting for like your
I have a
Steam Deck
backup
to break.
Yes, exactly. So, anyways, that's my ongoing answer is a Steam Deck, but
Interesting.
my actual answer is a coffee pot still. I think I talked about that too. There's a few things.
Actual answer.
Now, the coffee pot or the Breville? Which one?
The espresso machine is, I feel like just a coffee device.
Okay.
I've upgraded over the years to an espresso machine that gets me high quality espresso at home. But I mean, we brewed with the $25 Mr. Coffee this morning, and I'm just fine with that.
Amazing.
Yeah,
It was amazing.
I don't have.
For real.
First world problems. Really.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
anyways, there you go. So I haven't changed my items from the last 3 episodes.
If you were to get into different gaming consoles, what would you do? Would you do PC, PlayStation, Xbox?
If there was no barrier to entry and money was no object, a gaming PC.
Yeah.
Because it can do, I can play Halo and God of War on a PC.
Right. That's true.
So for me, it's like that perfect middle ground. But a high quality PC is expensive. So that's something that I would love to do someday. But it would probably end up being PC. Because then I can kind of do everything I would want to do. I can play COD with you. I can play Halo with you. Play God of War on my own. I can play Starfield.
You can edit videos. You can do more than just gaming.
Yep.
Yeah.
So a lot of the games that I care to play are kind of meet on the PC.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Nice. So, would you ever switch from Xbox?
I would go to PC. I wouldn't go to PlayStation.
You'd be able to carry your Xbox library with you pretty much
Yeah.
through Game Pass.
Yeah. No, I intend to go to PC eventually. I enjoy mouse and keyboard a lot.
You can do that now. You can plug a mouse and keyboard into your Xbox.
Really?
Yeah, I did it on that because I sold you that Xbox. Remember?
Yeah.
I played Modern Warfare 2019 on that thing with a mouse and keyboard. It worked great.
Really?
Yeah.
And that games won't ban you for
No,
using
officially-
emulators?
It's officially supported.
Oh.
Go give it a try.
Interesting.
Yeah, give it a try.
I should try it.
I think Halo supports it as well. You can go in the settings.
This
and
is how you
there's
get to the next
There's
level.
a keyboard
I don't have a
tab.
keyboard though, so I should get like the OnePlus keyboard.
Sure, yeah. Would you ever switch back to PlayStation?
Would I? I think so. Yeah.
So?
Yeah. Maybe like the next gen. If I'm feeling like
6.
upgrading,
Yeah.
right? Which won't be for another like 10 years. or
You know you won't be able to play Call of Duty on that.
something. The PlayStation.
It's owned by Activision now, or Activision's owned by Xbox, Microsoft.
Didn't they like figure that out though?
It's still in the works, but it's probably
They figured it out. Microsoft is going to own it. That's how they figured it out.
They already own they own Bethesda, which is why Starfield's an Xbox exclusive. The first trailers for Starfield showed the PlayStation logo.
Really? No way.
I think so. I know they advertised it.
You're probably right.
Jimmy, what's one thing you'd replace
In
immediately?
my pocket right here.
Oh,
The mini channel locks. I have already lost one pair and I had to replace it immediately. This is out of my whole tool bag. I use this the most.
Really?
Yep, surprisingly. This, I don't know what it is, but with plumbing, you just need small things, small pliers all the time.
You're working in sinks and tight
Yep.
to get to places.
Whether it's just really small nuts or tight spaces, this thing comes in handy every day. I use this every day.
Oh, who would have thought?
So, yeah, that's my show and tell. Mini channel locks.
Cool.
awesome.
What about you?
Definitely my headphones, my Sony headphones that I use
Ooh, yeah.
to mostly use for working out, but traveling back and forth from Okinawa to the States,
Is that what you use
having
for
noise
gaming too?
canceling. No,
The Sony?
I have the Xbox headphones that I use, so
Nice.
it just works really well with. But the Sony's, I have the
The XM3s, 4s.
yep. Sony is really odd with their scheming or their
The
name
WH1000 XM4s.
schemes. Yeah, it's the WH1000 XM3s.
Oh, the 3s. Okay.
I think they have the XM5s now. But the XM3s and the 4s are basically identical, so I never thought about upgrading. But they've been really good. Still great battery life. I use them almost every day for the gym, and they are fantastic. One feature that I don't really use that was advertised heavily was the hand over
Oh, yeah.
right ear cup to speak, because it's a little awkward talking to someone and they just see you like grab your face and look at them.
I had a pair of these. They were great. I switched to AirPods eventually, but yeah, it was where if you want to talk to someone, you could enable pass-through mode by holding your hand over the right ear cup.
right, which in theory is a
Simulates
good
you
idea.
holding a phone up to your ear.
I guess it just never worked for me either.
It's just better if you're gonna bring your hand up anyways to take the
Okay.
cup off and just listen to someone.
You're so close, you just might as well just tip it open. Half the
right.
time I'd skip a track or crank the volume on accident too.
It's true. The touch panel is a little janky on it, but overall sound quality and noise cancellation is really solid. And they are already a little broken. The headband is a little cracked, but I just kind of taped it, and they're still great. But
Yeah.
if those did break, officially, I would definitely replace them. Not necessarily with the newest Sony. I'd probably do some research into the Bose and what's the next best one. So
Yeah. I really like Sony sound.
I forgot about headphones. I'm switching my answer to my AirPod Pros.
yeah,
Those are something I use almost every day.
that was actually, I was going over your guys' notes, and my mom's like, your headphones. I'm like, you're right. So thanks, Mom.
That's the kind of thing that like you must use it all the time because you forget it's part of your everyday life.
It's true.
Like because you're just so used to having them.
Yeah.
Yep. I have Sony earbuds, WX1000s, and I use those every day.
If we're being honest,
It's your phone.
Yeah. Well, like I'd replace my air conditioner if it died. You know?
exactly.
There's that sense
Exactly.
to it. Yeah.
And I do include headphones into essential category for sure.
Agreed. Same.
Yeah.
Especially the noise canceling with flying and whatnot. They have the cheap little ones that they give you to plug in to watch a movie.
Nah.
And you can't hear anything. I actually, what I do is I take those because you can plug an aux into your headset. You use the noise canceling and then also whatever's playing.
What's the battery life
I don't
on those?
have, it's a good like 20 hours.
Oh, wow.
It was advertised as
That's
30,
crazy.
like 30 plus.
Really?
So
Yeah.
everyone I know who's had them can use them for days.
Yeah. I mean,
Are they like
mine are like
$300?
4 or 5 years old now, so they've been used quite a lot. But they were $350, so they were on the high end, like when they were released. But now they're just getting more expensive. I think that it's like $400 for the new ones now. So then the AirPod Maxes were like $500.
Those are a ripoff. I love Apple stuff, but man, I'll never buy AirPod Maxes.
Dude,
Such a ripoff. Yeah, I'll stick with. I like the AirPod Pro earbuds, and those were $200 I paid for them. I like the sound a lot, and they're so convenient. They're so like the battery life's not as good as the big headphones, obviously, but they're so convenient to just pop in your ears. The noise canceling is better than my XM3s were, and the pass through mode, which on those ones you just like tap and hold on the stem and you can hear through it. The pass through is so good. I immediately noticed a difference because XM3s do a pretty good job. The ones I had, maybe they were older than yours, I think even.
it was kind of in the beginning of pass-through mode, and
Right.
they were really good with it when it first came out, but now they're definitely...
Yeah, they were the best it was, but it wasn't
Right,
that great.
right.
You know?
Yeah.
So things changed a lot in that. I like the form factor of the earbuds more. I'll probably stick with those. But yeah, headphones are one of those daily things, especially like, I don't know, mowing the lawn.
Yeah.
Like I have a whole new appreciation for noise canceling. Mowing the lawn or like, working with those kind of things now that I have a house and a yard to keep up with.
Yeah.
So anyways, well, good deal. This has been fun, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having
Coming
me.
out, Ethan.
Thanks for
for
coming.
making it.
It's fun to have a guest on the show. It's good to have you.
First guest?
The first guest on Double
let's
Dad.
go.
This is like prestige status. Like you're gonna go down in
Yes.
history.
Wow.
First guest.
Excited. Yeah, this is fun. I'm glad we were able to figure out the time.
Yeah, yesterday we got here and we were gonna film, and
Yeah.
we had like an hour and 20 of like crunch time, and we spent like a half hour trying to figure like our setup out, and it just was not working.
Yeah, I can't believe I didn't think to test 3 microphones before you showed up.
Well, in theory, it would work. You had.
Little shuffle around of the hardware we're using, and we've got all 3 of these synced up. And
Yeah, it's good now.
When is episode 3 dropping?
Episode 3 is going to be out. Well, this is going to come out after that, but as of recording, episode 3 is going to come out this evening, 6 p.m.
Nice.
So we're going to try and get these out Friday at 6 is kind of our timeline. So tune in on your Friday evening or your weekend off. Listen in to Double Dads. Thanks for coming out again, Ethan. It was fun to get into Star Wars. We hadn't talked about movies much. That was good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I have a lot more to say, but
Oh, I know.
it was gonna take up the whole segment. So
Tune in for MovieCast episode 5 next week.
yes.
Movie.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Double Dads episode 4. Come find us. We're on all the socials, and I'm trying to pull up I had them listed because Double Dads was taken someplace. Could you believe it?
Ah,
We're on Twitter or X at Double Dad Cast. Threads, Double Dad's channel. Instagram, Double Dad's channel. TikTok, Double Dad's channel. That's new. We should talk about how we got on TikTok because that app scares me a little bit. So I have like a burner phone on a VPN.
Really?
Yeah, that I shut off between uses.
That's awesome. But
catch us on TikTok if that's your platform of choice. I have no problem with people using it. I just don't want it.
Yeah.
We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, here on YouTube, wherever you catch your content. Come check us out. Thanks for tuning in to Double Dads, and come back next week. You guys want to go play COD?
yes.
So let's some zombies.
I'm so bad at this. I need to learn. Teach me your ways.